There is a verse in the Bible where angels sit at a table and eat human food, and almost no one has noticed what this really means. Have you ever read the Bible carefully and suddenly stopped at a strange detail? One of those moments when you think, wait, is this really here? One of those questions appears in Genesis 18, an ancient text, yet deeply provocative. There we read that angels ate human food. But how? Can angels eat? Do they have bodies? Do they need food? Does this change anything about the spiritual realm? Let's look at the text calmly, without wild imagination and without fear of questions. Genesis 18 begins simply. Abraham is by the oaks of Mamre in the heat of the day. Suddenly, he sees 3 men approaching. The Hebrew text is direct. Shalosha Anashim, 3 men, no glow, no wings, no supernatural announcement. Their appearance is ordinary. Abraham runs to them, bows, offers water to wash their feet, rest, and food. Bread is prepared, milk, curds, and a roasted calf. Then the text states, clearly and plainly, and they ate. Genesis 18:8. No metaphor, no further explanation, no attempt to soften the impact. Later, in Genesis 19, 2 of these men are explicitly called angels when they arrive in Sodom. The third is identified as the Lord himself, who speaks at length with Abraham. So the full scene is this: 3 visitors, 2 angels, and a manifestation of the Lord. Now we reach the central question. How did angels eat human food? The answer begins with the text itself. The Hebrew verb used is akol, the common verb for literal eating. It is not symbolic, not a vision, not a dream. The biblical author wants the reader to understand this as a real event. This teaches us something important about angels in Scripture. They are spiritual beings by nature, yet capable of assuming real, temporary, functional, physical form when necessary. Not an illusion, not a vague appearance. Scripture shows angels walking, speaking, being touched, holding objects, stand here, eating. But there is a crucial detail that many people miss. The text says they ate, but it does not say they needed to eat. That changes everything. In the ancient world, especially in the Middle East, sharing a meal was not about biological necessity. It was about communion, acceptance, and honoring hospitality. By eating, the angels were not demonstrating hunger. They were receiving Abraham's gesture. They entered that human moment, that relational space. This does not turn angels into human beings, nor does it suggest they depend on food. It is participation, not dependence. And here another common question arises. If angels can eat, does that prove they can have human relationships? This is where many people slip. The text shows that angels can assume functional bodies, but it does not say this is natural, permanent, or reproductive. Jesus himself draws a clear boundary in Matthew 22:30 when he says that angels do not marry. In other words, the ability to interact does not mean the ability to reproduce. Assuming form is not the same as crossing the boundaries of creation. Genesis 18 was not written to fuel speculation about the supernatural. It prepares something much deeper. It prepares the promise of Isaac's birth, the judgment of Sodom, and it reveals a God who comes down, visits, speaks, and engages with human beings. The focus was never the angels. The focus was always the encounter. Abraham welcomes, offers, and listens. Sodom rejects, resists, and corrupts. That is the true contrast of the text. In the end, Genesis 18 does not just answer the question, can angels eat? It confronts something deeper. How do you respond when God approaches in a simple, unexpected, human way? Because often, we are so busy trying to understand the mystery that we miss the invitation to communion. The extraordinary thing is not that angels ate. It is that God came down to meet a man willing to receive him. And that remains the great question of the passage. When God draws near, do you welcome him or do you ignore him? May God continue to bless you with brotherly love, minutes of grace.